This sauce is literally a cheat code for spicy cooking, and I'm gonna show you how you can make it for yourself. The only catch is it's gonna take some time to make because the secret to this chili paste from South Korea is fermentation. And I've made gochujang in the past as short videos, and it's pretty much my most watched short series I've ever made, at over like 80 million views across all platforms, which could be the most viewed gochujang video series of all time. But to be honest, I didn't really expect any of you guys to actually follow that recipe since some of the ingredients are quite hard to come by. So in this video, I'm gonna be showing you how you can put together a gochujang to ferment yourself. Before we get into putting this all together though, I wanna break down how gochujang works. The way I see it, there are a few processes at work to develop specific flavors in the gochujang. Now, the big main flavor in gochujang is obviously spiciness, which is in the form of gochugaru or chili flakes. In my recipe, I'm going to be using Korean gochugaru, which is available in most parts of the world, either online or in Asian stores. But any finely ground chili powder will work as well. And you know what? Could produce some fun versions of gochujang. Korean gochugaru comes in a few different grind levels. For gochujang, you want to use the most finely ground gochugaru you can find. Now, after spiciness, we have the umami savory flavors, which are usually produced through the addition of meju powder, which is soybeans that have been inoculated with wild molds, dried, and then ground into a powder. These molds can break down proteins into amino acids, which give that umami flavor, and also break down starches into sugar. Instead of using meju powder though, which I'm sure is pretty impossible to easily get outside of Korea, I'm going to be using roasted soybean powder as a source of protein. And then for the mold that will break down that protein into amino acids, I'm going to be using koji rice, which contains a more specific mold that will break down those proteins. For the sweet aspect of our gochujang, usually syrup or a sweetener is added, but for this gochujang, I want to produce that sweet flavor by adding rice flour, which contains starch that will be broken down by the koji rice into sugars. Some of those sugars will be consumed by wild yeasts and bacteria that will most likely be introduced by the chili flakes to produce some more tangy, complex flavors as well. Now, all those processes happening together will take some time, but in the end should produce a deep, spicy, savory, and slightly sweet gochujang. So now that we sort of understand what is going to be happening in this paste to turn it into gochujang, let's start putting it together. If you want to know the specific amounts, I put them in the description of this video. I'm going to be starting off by adding glutinous rice flour to a saucepan along with some water, which I'll begin heating up while constantly stirring. After a while, it should begin thickening up like this, but I don't want to let this cook too much and become too thick. So once it reaches a thin paste consistency, I'm going to turn off the heat and then transfer this rice paste into a mixing bowl. Now this is still a little hot, so I don't want to add my live ingredients like the rice koji just yet. So first, I'll add the roasted soybean powder and mix that in as best as I can. It doesn't need to be perfectly mixed in just yet, but I want to just make some space for the next ingredient, which is the salt. I'll add the salt and then give it another mix again. Next, I'm going to add the gochugaru. However, half my gochugaru is coarse gochugaru, so I need to make it a little bit finer before adding it to my paste. But a few rounds in a good blender should make this a little bit finer so that we can use it in our gochujang. I'll add the gochugaru and begin incorporating that into my paste before adding my final ingredient. And at this point, the paste has come down in temperature quite a lot and is cool enough that it won't kill the last ingredient, which is arguably the most important ingredient for making this work. The final ingredient to add is the rice koji, and I'm gonna first throw it into the same blender I used for the gochugaru to just try and break up the rice grains a little bit more. I like doing this just so it's not so clumpy in the paste and to just increase its surface area. I'll throw the blended rice koji into the paste and then give it one final mix. And then I even went and grabbed my stick blender to try and make this a little bit smoother. Once the paste is well and truly mixed together, it's time to transfer everything into its home for the next few months. Now, you can use glass, ceramic, or even food grade plastic. I'm gonna be using a glass flip top jar for mine. I'm not gonna be filling this all the way up to the top of the jar though, but instead leave about 2 centimeters of headspace at the top of the jar, just in case this does expand a little bit. Before I put this away though to ferment, I'm gonna cut down a piece of baking paper to just a bit bigger than the opening of the jar, and then crumple it up in my hands before unfolding it. I find crumpling the paper like this helps it to conform to the shape of the jar when I push it down to cover the top of the paste. Above the paper, I'm gonna be laying down a plastic bag and then I'm gonna fill it with salt to keep everything weighed down. I don't want this to be completely airtight though, so all I'm gonna do is tie down the plastic bag with some elastic band, and now this is ready to place in a dark, warm spot to ferment. I ended up with just a little bit extra paste, so I made another smaller jar as well and placed these in a dark cupboard. Now, as with all good things, this will take some time. As this ferments, the koji will turn the starches into sugars, which will then be eaten by any wild yeasts and bacteria. And at the same time, the proteins from the soybean powder will be broken down into amino acids. And if all goes well, all these processes happening in this paste should leave us with a spicy, savory, tangy, and slightly sweet paste, which is literally a cheat code for any spicy cooking. But if you want to keep up with the gochujang that I'm making here, make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to catch all future updates on this gochujang, along with any other fun projects I'll be doing along the way.